Saeva maya parimohitatma Shariramastaya karoti sarvam Striyannapanadi vichitra bhogaihi Saeva jagrat paritruptimeti Swapne sajiva sukha dukkha bhokta Swamayaya kalpita vishwaloke Sushuptikale sakale viline Tamobhibhuta sukharupameti. Now there is a continuity of thought. That's the reason these two mantras are chanted together. Now the 12th mantra says, He alone, the self abiding in the body, completely deluded by Maya, illusion, Maya parimohitaha. Self-abiding in the body, completely deluded by Maya, illusion, does everything. He alone in the waking state obtains great satisfaction through the varied enjoyment of Striyannapanadi, woman, Stri, Anna, Adi, drink, etc. In the waking state, one obtains satisfaction through the varied enjoyment of woman, food, and drink. And the 13th mantra says, in the dream state, that very individual experiences Swapne sajiva sukha dukkha bhoktaha. He experiences joy and sorrow in the whole imagined world projected by his own Maya. Swamayaya kalpita vishwaloke. In a whole imagined world, kalpita vishwaloke. In the dream world, he experiences joy and sorrow. And then he says, Sushuptikale sakale viline. In the Sushupti, in deep sleep, sakale viline means everything is dissolved. Tamo vibhuta, overcome by tamas and ignorance. Sukharu pameti. He attains the state of bliss. It's not difficult to understand what he's saying here, because we already understand the concept of the waking, dream, and deep sleep, and who is a waker, who is a dreamer, and who is a deep sleeper. But these texts become the authority where we have drawn out these concepts, because Vedas are the very authority of Vedanta. So this is the source. Now, he alone, the self, abiding in the body, completely deluded by the illusion, completely deluded by Maya, does everything. Now, the pure consciousness is said to be unconditioned. Unconditioned means pure. But when the pure consciousness, as he says, abiding in the body, means when the pure consciousness operates through the individual, it becomes conditioned. Now, when the pure consciousness expresses through the, okay, US, are you there? US has been recently, yesterday, she has been conferred with a title, and I'm happy to share the title with everybody. US has been now called, she can call herself TA. From US, we'll convert it TA. What is TA?
I don't know.
What is don't know? TA is called you are the awakened. when I spoke to her, she said, I have, short of saying I've attained moksha, she said. So I said, okay, you are the awakened, I told her. So from now on, we will address her as the awakened soul. So the awakened, you may not understand the conditioned state we are in, but can you please describe who and how are the waking, dream, and deep sleep personalities formed? As I've said, the self is unconditioned. Am I right? You get that?
Yes.
The conditioned personalities are the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, what forms the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper?
The individual.
The individual is going through the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep.
Yes.
And he's describing what those experiences are, what happens in waking state, what happens in dream, and what happens in deep sleep.
Yeah.
That's a description. Now, my question is, how does the unconditioned become the conditioned? When do you become the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper?
When does the unconditioned become the conditioned?
Yes, the condition, the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper.
When the BMI, they go above the body, mind, and intellect, they become the unconditioned.
When you go beyond the BMI, you become the unconditioned. But when does one become the conditioned? The waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. See, when the pure consciousness, as he says that, the self abiding in the body gets completely deluded. So the deluded is the individual, am I right? Caught up in Maya, illusion. Now, how does this deluded being come about? When the consciousness functions through the causal body, when the consciousness functions through the causal body, you become the deep sleeper.
Yes.
When the consciousness, the pure unconditioned consciousness, functions through the causal body is the vasanas, you become the deep sleeper. When the same consciousness functions through the subtle body, you become the dreamer. The same consciousness functions through the gross body, you become the waker. So consciousness operating through the vasanas, a causal body, you are the deep sleeper. So you can say consciousness C plus vasanas equals deep sleeper. Isn't it?
Yes.
The same consciousness through or plus the subtle body becomes the dreamer. C or the PC, you can say, or C, same thing, pure consciousness, plus the gross body, you become the waker. Now, okay, so what is the experience of the waker? He says, in the waking state, he obtains great satisfaction, paritrupti. But looks like the Upanishad is contradicting us, no? What did I say just now? US, what did we say just now? Or UK. To Harish, what did I say?
You said when you're generally in the world, you will be nurturing discontentment. That's why you run after the world. You try to fulfill your vasanas. But just now you are saying when you're in a waking state, you are fully contented.
No, I'm not saying not fully contented. He's saying the text paritrupti means obtains great satisfaction.
Okay.
So the term he uses as a waker, he's saying one is trying to obtain satisfaction. Now, what is it that is finding satisfaction in?
The worldly activities.
What are the worldly activities?
like a woman or your food
Woman,
and
food and
food
drink.
and drink. Yeah.
Okay. So he says woman, food and drink are a source of enjoyment, or great satisfaction in the waking state. So in the waking state, what does it symbolize? Woman, food and drink symbolizes
Your the lower things which give you satisfaction. I mean, it's the lower stat of fulfilling your desires.
so one runs behind. Symbolically, it only means you are seeking enjoyment externally.
Externally and in temporary things.
That's experience. As a waker, you and I understand all the joys that you derive from worldly enjoyments are only temporary. So when he says in the waking state, people are seeking satisfaction, it only means people are caught up in the pursuit of seeking enjoyment externally. That's all he's trying to say. You're entangled.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So one is caught up in the pursuit of these lower pleasures. So when one is caught up in the pursuit of these lower pleasures, what is the result of it? Raghugaru. When one is caught up in the lower pleasures of the carnal pleasures of woman, food and drink, the gross physical level, external pleasures, what happens? What is it that one can't do?
Yeah, as far as my experience, I think this will put you in a loop or something, like it goes on and on. If somebody has a chance to meet a 500 different women or something, you still need to go on to the 1,000, probably much beyond. And I don't think it will end.
Since you are taking a mention of the number of women and all, there was a great man was asked once that attacking Hindus, attacking the stupidity of why we worship Lord Krishna, because the point he was making was that Jesus Christ had only one woman in his life, but Krishna was a playboy. How many women did Krishna is told to have associated? 16,000, 18,000. 16,000 women. You are saying 500,000, but Lord Krishna has set a new benchmark. 16,000 women he is said to have had associated. And then he was attacking and saying, you fellows, you have no brain. You won't worship a fellow who's a playboy. Can you please rationalize? Can you make sense to me? What is it your fellow doing? Okay. Then the Swami got into a dialogue with this man in an open audience, in a lecture. He started asking, are you married? He said, yes, sir, I'm married. Are you happy? He said, so. Very cooperative he was. He said, so. How many wives you have? I said, only one wife, sir. Imagine I give you 2-3 more wives to deal with. What would be life? Sir, I said, Guruji, that I've confessed that with one wife, my life is so. Imagine I have 2-3 more women in my life. What will happen to my life? Why are you putting me in this precarious situation? My wife was next to me, but I'm just trying to understand here. He was very cooperative. He was not trying to be mischievous. Now, you say that if one wife, my life is so, and 3-4 I have to deal with, it's going to completely, I will lose my happiness. What would be state of a person who dealt with 16,000 women? Oh, he must be God. Correct. That's the reason we are also worshipping him. You get it? So he just spoke in a language that fellow understood. He had some intention of trying to put the Swami in a spot of bother, but he dealt with him in the right way. But he got the message. So it is nothing to do, but symbolically, what Lord Krishna suggests, it's not to demean, but the reason why they bring in the concept of Lord Krishna dealing with 16,000 women, 16,000 refers to the various thoughts and desires and vasanas. He had the capacity to deal with them, but he did not lost in the quagmire of all his thoughts and vasanas. So he was liberated. He was completely free. He was never not bound. So he dealt with each desire, each vasana, engaged with various things, but he was totally detached. To that we bow down. Lord Krishna was a man of freedom. He was never bound in anything that he did. That's a sign of true detachment. So it is nothing to do with it's not demeaning women here. Here, see, in the Shastras, in fact, it's strange because we call, in fact, if there is any culture in the world that upholds women and respects women is our culture. Because the first thing we address a lady as Amma, you call her as a mother, you give her that status. We call it the mother knowledge. It's Saraswati, and it's called the Mother Gita. And the daughter of the Himalayas, where the knowledge is born, is Uma. So it's woman that is kept at a very high pedestal. But yet the object of enjoyment is symbolically used as a woman because all sense objects, so all senses are engaged in that contact of the sense object. When you say a woman, all your senses participate. So the enjoyment is highest. It's applicable to a man or a woman. So what it means is, in fact, in Bhajagovindam also, Adi Shankaracharya says it's Kamini. He says objectifies it as woman, but it's not demeaning it. So please don't misunderstand it. But when one is caught up, the question which I asked you, Raghugaru, is when one is caught up in these pursuits of these lower pleasures, what is it that one cannot do? It doesn't have to be personal. I'm only trying to tell what happens if one is distracted, which the whole humanity is distracted.
Yeah, I would like to mention that if someone is engaged in these activities, everybody's got 24 hours. So if I engage 10 hours in these activities, obviously I'll be only left with 14 hours for other activities. The more I engage in these activities, obviously I'll be less using the time for other activities which may or may not benefit from. But certainly these activities may not benefit if I'm keeping it going on.
Right. So in effect, what you're saying is if one is engaged in these lower, consumed with acquisition and enjoyment, if you're running behind acquiring the wealth of the world, acquiring the world and enjoying the world, he's only relating, he's saying only saying that in the waking state, you're caught up with acquisition and enjoyment, you would have that less opportunity to seek something higher, which is beyond it. You can't seek anything more purposeful. And by the time you wake up, half your life is gone, is wasted. All the time you're worried of how to protect your earnings and investments. A fellow who has no wealth has a problem. A fellow who has got all the wealth in the world also has a problem. Are his fund managers, are they doing wise decisions to protect his investments? Whether am I getting right rewards? Is it safe? I've got a parcel of land. I know a man who has got a large parcel of land. All the time that fellow has got worry. And he says, I want to sell it. Why? Because everybody, they come and encroach it. Why don't you sell it? No, I'm not getting the good price now. He's holding on. He can't sell it because he's not getting the good price. And at the same time, as he's holding on, he's worried, will others come and encroach it? If they come and encroach it, what will happen? That's what attachment does. Worry. So a person who is caught up in the world will not be able to seek anything higher. Thanks, Raghuji. You'll not be able to seek anything higher. And all of that credit goes to, as the verse says, all you're caught up in the Maya. You're caught up in this illusion. So the appeal is to make you understand that one of the highest of philosophies in Vedanta is to convince you that the world you're living in is a Maya. This is the highest of thoughts these masters tell us, is to say that this world is Maya. And what is one powerful reason why you should start entertaining the thought that the world is Maya? Harish, is like saying you start your day at work seriously telling yourself that all that I'm doing, the whole business and all that I'll be engaging the whole day is Maya. You tell yourself that and start your business. Does it sound absurd or does it make sense?
It makes sense now since I'm getting the teachings. It's making a lot of sense now.
It makes sense. But what's the one powerful reason why you would have to say that the whole business world is Maya? The moment you're getting to your home, you're going to get down from the ferry, you're going to walk to your Discovery Bay, you will say, my home is a Maya, my family is a Maya. You're going for a holiday, you will say, oh, this holiday is a Maya. Your everything that you're going through, you just tell it's a Maya, it's an illusion. What would be the reason why you would be advised to say that?
I have two thoughts, Guruji. One thought, everything is just temporarily for the moment. Nothing is permanent. And number two, we're not going to live forever. So we have to make the best of every moment. Not this. We also
So
not permanent
therefore enjoy it. No, it is not going to be permanent. When it is there, why are you wasting your time? Forget this Maya and go and plunge. It's like a fellow who wants to enjoy swimming, he's going to plunge into the water and enjoy, isn't it? Are you not contradicting yourself? This moment is not going to last forever. This 50th birthday of mine is only going to come once in a day, once in a year, once in my lifetime. So I must have a big bash 50th birthday. I hope you don't mean that. Are you meaning that?
No, actually, I'm meaning the opposite. Actually, the opposite. I'm telling myself now that I remember your words that don't get caught up in any dramas in the world. Everybody's got their own dramas. Don't get caught up in any dramas. And I have nothing to do with it. I use these two takeaways to understand that everything's an illusion now. On that note.
Spot on, Harish, spot on. It's the one primary thing that if you were to tell yourself the whole thing is Maya, is illusion, it's only going to help you so that you don't get caught up in it. And chances are you will deal with it objectively. You will not give it an exaggerated value. Or, I'm being felicitated for all the lifetime work I've done. I'm going to receive a lifetime achievement by one of the most reputed organization, and it's going to be, it's the big thing in my life. You're so excited, you're so carried away with it. Tell yourself the whole thing is Maya. You'll tell, big deal. So what? Tatakim. As Kalidasa used to say, everything in life, if you say Tatakim, so what? Oh, I'm going to start a huge ashram. So what? That's also Maya, pa. Don't get caught up in this Maya. It's easily, you can get caught up. Oh, I'm doing so much service. That also is Maya. Everything is Maya. So the primary reason why you must entertain this thought. If you don't say it's Maya, you say, oh, it's very real for me. And you get caught up in it and you suffer. So please prepare would you say a card, Harish, on your table? which only you can see, not for the others. This business is Maya. A placard where only you see. Then if your customers see, then they'll say your payment also is Maya, they'll tell. So they should not see that, only you should see it. Then Guruji, you say, I put this and I'm in deep trouble. They are saying Maya lecture to me. I'm seeing Maya everywhere beyond the classroom. Then I'm going to be, you will be in deep trouble.
Guruji, do you know the thing is, in fact, on Maya, Guruji, in the last 1 or 2 months, more so than ever before, I've actually been saying that to myself. Everything is Maya. Actually, Guruji, in the last 1 or 2 months, very predominantly, actually, I've been doing that.
So we'll have to come up with a title for you also now.
No, Guruji,
No,
title.
No titles yet. Huh?
Simple living.
Yeah. No, it is extremely profound. It insulates you from whatever the world can put you through. All the gain, all the
Correct.
loss, all that transpires, it insulates you, it protects you. Such a buffer zone you have, you are never affected.
Yes.
So I'm sure you are experiencing it, but these are the moments where again it reiterates. So
Yes.
just, what is Maya is just to ask this question: is this real? The experience that you're going through in life, or the problems that you're going through in life, is just to ask this question: is this real? Just question it. The real sadhana is questioning your experiences. The problem is we don't question, we have taken it for granted. When you question, is this real? The moment you question, is this real, you become philosophic. You will see there is a possibility, something other than it. That's all this knowledge is. There's something other than this. But if you don't question, you say, this is it, this is all life is, and you get caught up in it. And that limits you. So what he's saying is getting swayed, getting carried away by the satisfaction you find in the varied enjoyment of woman, food, and drink only limits you to that worldly experiences, and you fail to realize what lies beyond it. And you must do this. When should you do this? Not when you have nothing else to do. You should do this in the acme of your life. When everything is going well for you, you say, this is Maya. There were, Lakshmi, I don't know whether you recall, during my stay in Malaysia, there was the long stay I had there. There was a time when, we got connected to the minister in the Prime Minister's department, Sri Effendi Novavi. Over the days, and literally, believe me or not, those few years, I was literally visiting the minister. I was visiting the minister's home, and he was connecting with me to the real cream of the corporate industry of the like this. Who is this? Francis Yeo. I remember meeting Francis Yeo, the YTL. Met all this. I went for dinners with Berjaya Sun, Berjaya Group. All these fellows, moving with these fellows. And I remember moving with these people, what? Organizing programs for my Guru, for Swamiji. Bringing him down and having those high-fly colorful events and things like that. So literally rubbing shoulders with who's who of the celebrities of the country and the real people, the real billionaires like Tatas and Birlas of the country. I remember I was walking with Swamiji somewhere, and I was telling Swamiji, I just think all of this is a big bubble. It's going to burst anytime. I remember saying this, I don't know from where that thought came. I told this, it's just a big bubble. And that's when I needed a 3-piece suit, Harish. Hugo Boss. Because I had to go for these. I remember I was supposed to attend that Berjaya Group. That fellow's son was getting married in Times Square in KL. And I had to attend his son's wedding. And they told me, you must come in a 3-piece suit. It must be this color. You must have a, what is called a bow tie, Amita. Normal tie will not be allowed. So you have to have a bow tie, and you have to have this, and you have to have that. I said, okay, if I have to do all that to arrange an event for my guru, I'll have to do that. I did that. Believe me, I did that. And all of the fellows were sitting, looking at me strangely. Who is this Indian fellow? Lakshmi will understand. Lakshmi and Amita will understand. Who is this strange young Indian boy sitting amongst us? Who is this big fellow? Because it's only the cream. And my table was next to the Prime Minister's table, and we were sitting. I tell you, it was so unreal. I just told this to my guru. I feel the whole thing is a big bubble. So I had a glimpse into what that life is. I said, nothing doing, big deal. And it did. It was just a bubble. It just passed away. And I remember a couple of students came to me and said, Guruji, I don't think now you will be available for us. Said, don't worry. I'm just in the balloon. It's going to burst. I'm going to fall down very soon. Then you can catch me. Correct, Lakshmi Ma? Where you were there, isn't it then? We can't hear you. Can you say something? I think even last time we had the same issue. I think you should get it resolved. Right? Amitama.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. So
Yeah.
were you there around those years?
No, sir, but I can completely relate, because that's exactly the madness that needs to happen in approaching people like the Barjayas. And I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. And that too, for a spiritual favor, it's so ridiculous, but that is what is expected in those circles, right? I can relate to what
it's not that, sir, the interesting thing was, it's not that I was running behind them. They were running behind us. Because the minister and the Prime Minister's department literally said, get this done for this man. Organize programs for him. So literally the IOI chairman, the Berjaya chairman, all this YTL, literally all these fellows. And I remember I was telling people those days that I'm going to meet YTL chairman. They said, YTL chairman? I did not know whom I was going to meet. And I remember, one of the words that Francis Yeo told me that, and I was inspired to do what I was doing. And he told me this, I have not, what you make sense than what all Christians made all my life to me. And he got up and shook my hand and said, my God, you make so much sense to me, he said. And I was speaking Vedanta to him, and he's a Christian guy, isn't it? Francis Yeo. And he told me, you make more sense than all Christians made to me. He said, I wish I recorded it. Then later on, I knew whom did I meet, I did not know whom I was meeting. I just went and met this fellow. And then Khazana group chairman, I was meeting, the Khazana organized one. And these are the names. It's like Ambani is organizing one program, the Birlas organizing, the Tatas organizing in India. It's like that, These are they are the top 5 guys in the country. So I have seen all what it is to move these fellows. During the peak of the time, I told Swami, it's all a big bubble. None of these fellows are seeking it, and yet they are all, So what we must understand is that in the acme of your life, if you tell yourself, I should not get carried away by this bubble or this balloon or this success, it should not hit you. Understand, thank God some Vedanta existed in my head that I didn't get carried away. Must have that thought. But yet you must also have the capacity to play the role, be a Roman in Rome. So I was trying to behave as if I was one amongst them, Not lost, not out of it. It was a very interesting phase. I don't know when was this, which years was this. I think it was in 2012, 2013, 14, those time. Yeah. It was that time. When did you come in, Amitama?
It was around that same time. but
around that time.
probably just after. Yeah.
Just after that.
Mhm.
No, I'm not trying to boast of anything. I'm only trying to share some experiences which you go through, and then you also understand how you should relate with it. The quintessential thing is the statement I made to my guru, and the conversation thereafter. There was a fascinating conversation I had one-to-one with him. I said this is a big bubble, and we raised the kinds of thousands, hundreds and thousands of dollars we raised for the ashram. I was just serving my cause. I was doing what my guru told me to do. It means to organize this talks. I went out to the extent where I met the who of the country to do for my guru. I didn't leave a stone unturned. What possible that can happen, I did. Because I want my guru is coming. What can I do to him? I may be understood or misunderstood by many, but I said this is what I must do. So he said I want these programs. I said okay, if you want it, I'll do it. If you have the fire in you to serve, you'll do anything. There's no fear. As I said, I didn't find myself small, but yet understand that is not all life is. It's very, very philosophical. So, Lakshmana, get your microphone sorted out, Lakshmana. Okay. Ramji, are you able to relate to what I said, Ramji?
Very much, sir. Very much.
Uh,
I am in similar situations many times, and so taking the view, the perspective of a witness helps in such situations.
Yeah.
Because it is all like going around you, and you know that it is temporary. You know that you. So there is a purpose for everybody to do what they were doing, and if once you understand and then you just observe, like I mentioned last time, I think you can look at everybody with a sense of humor, and then try to enjoy those observations that you will have of different people going around. It could be a prime minister, it could be president, it could be ministers, many people, yes. I think it's a good drama which goes around you.
oh yeah, absolutely.
So once you take that kind of an attitude to it, then you won't get affected by it. Yes.
If they're there or not there, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Perfect, sir. Great. So I think this first half of the 12 and 13 speaks about from a waker's perspective, and then the 13th mantra speaks about the dream and deep sleep. I think we'll come back next week and look into it. Okay. Bye. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.